The Governator's return to the big screen is an untamed ride on the action movie level. That is, if you have the stomach for a heavy helping of violence and stilted characters. The Last Stand is so much gunfire, but I had more fun than I thought I would. It tries to have sappy moments that don't mesh against the rest of the film's tone, which is, let's put a drug cartel running psychopath in a Batmobile en route to Mexico and pit him against a small town sheriff who's getting too old for this shit. That's the summary of the film, folks. It lays out some exciting stakes in the beginning, but then takes that, traps Forrest Whitaker in a room where he can't do anything, and shoots the rest of the story to death with some Uzis. That was director Jee-woon Kim's approach, and while the film comes out as an animated and sometimes mysterious race against time, it does so at the mercy of an extreme amount of gun violence, viewer's warning, but also some really sleek road shooting of the fastest car on Earth. Acclaimed Asian director Kim proves that he knows what he's doing when it comes to designing effective action beats. Eduardo Noriega plays a race car driving cartel boss, the supposed villain of this piece, despite the fact that he just comes off as an unintimidating jerk. And of course, there's Schwarzenegger's overeating. But for some crazy reason, the stakes in this film work. It might be because of the military warfare, but it might also be that the protagonist and antagonist both played the same can't-be-taken-seriously level.
How are you, Sheriff?
Old.
I wanted to see more of Friday Night Lights' Zach Gilford as the bumbling deputy, and Johnny Knoxville from the Jackass film actually wasn't deplorable and barely in the film, too. Which brings me to my next point. While the film bills itself as the next Schwarzenegger movie, it comes out as an ensemble piece. Not a strong ensemble piece, mind you. Forrest Whitaker is grossly misused, but many of the big action set pieces are devoid of the Governator altogether. Being someone whose Schwarzenegger expertise is basically the extent of Jingle All the Way, I didn't have too much of a problem with his presence and delivery. Yeah, there are more than a few eye-roll moments, but none of those disappointed me as much as the excessive intended glee at an overload of violence, death, and squib blood. The audience I saw The Last Stand with had a good time, and cheered at a lot of the major deaths. So it seems that if you can ignore Arnold's delivery and more than your standard amount of action movie bullets, you might be able to have a good time too. The Last Stand opened in theaters on January 18th. How much gunfire is too much for your kind of movie? Jump to the comments below to let us know. And make sure to shoot over to your YouTube channel and do all the subscribing and liking.